Okay, we're good.
Good to go?
Yep.
Okay.
I had something really important to tell you, and I can't remember what it was now.
What's that?
I had something really important to tell you, and I can't remember what it was now.
Just remember we're live on YouTube.
Hi, Mayor. Hi, Dave.
How you doing?
Chief,
How
Dave,
are you?
Good.
Did you see? I did forward that on to Chief Richardson for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know that. I was using my cell phone, and I must be getting blind in my old age. I couldn't see what I was doing.
Gotcha.
we are live on YouTube, so just so everybody knows. We're at 5:19. We got a few minutes.
Mayor, do you know is the capital project main page going to be shared throughout, or do you want me to share it when we get to ours, or it's up to you?
I not sure if Fred's going to share it or I think Fred should be sharing it.
Okay.
You can ask him right here.
Well, he's a busy man on the computer, on the phone.
Okay. All right. I think I'm ready to go. Dave, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm all set up, Jerry. Sorry to bother you. Okay, thanks. Was having technical difficulties at home, but I'm okay now. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'm all set.
Okay.
Thank you. Bill, can you hear me? That's the most important thing.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thanks. Okay. It was strange. I got connected and I went to Outlook and my invite wouldn't pop up, so I had to bother Jerry at home. Just something strange. You know, the big IT genius that I am.
That's the way I am, Fred. Don't feel bad.
Oh,
I even did an upgrade thinking that it was my computer, paying more money now for this.
yeah.
And it's slower than it was before.
Well, my wife,
Everybody's, we're gonna be, at the end of this meeting, I'll be shutting down this meeting and then we go right to the other one. You're gonna have to log back on, so.
oh, wish me luck. Mary and I are taking the big leap. We're going to get a color TV this weekend.
Maybe he's got this. I'm running to the store, okay? So you'll have
right.
to carry on without me.
All right. You should let her take the car, Fred. You make her run all the way down to the store?
Well, she needs to, I'm trying to whip her into shape.
Okay. Fred, the question came up, will you be sharing the capital projects list up on the screen?
I didn't plan on it, but I'll try to.
Do you have the, okay,
Just remember, Fred, what I showed you. I'm confident in your abilities.
There it is.
oh, you got it, okay.
Well, I didn't bring it
Oh,
up.
Tim's got it, okay, all right.
Yeah, and there's one thing missing that Bob Ring asked for, and he said that he talked to you about it before, Bill. He was looking for $100,000 to do some brickwork in some of the streets. So
Yeah.
that was kind of a last addition.
Okay. He'll probably bring that up then when we talk about this, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Tim, you can take that off the shared screen now. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, there's Bob coming on now, I believe. There's Bob. Can you hear us?
Yep. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Bob.
Evening.
Hey, Bob, since we got a few minutes while we're waiting for everybody, you probably saw the email I sent you. I want to put another no parking here to corner sign up on Maple Street down by Route.
Yep.
And there's a fire hydrant there, and the owner at 706 is having a hard time backing out of her driveway. So I just wanted to make sure we get so we don't have to move the sign twice. We can do the proper footage
Sure.
to go back. It's a very narrow street. The chief is probably going to think we should probably put no parking on one side because that is very narrow down there.
I'm just looking right now.
Yeah, Dave, that's a tight swing.
Yeah.
Hi, Carrie, you there?
Hi. How are you guys?
Hi, Carrie.
Steve, I suspect we're about 15 feet behind the hydrant there.
Okay. Just so it clears
Hi,
706 so they can back out of their driveway. That was the main intent.
Oh, I see. Yep.
Hello, Linda, you there?
Yep.
Okay.
How's everybody else?
Good. How you doing, Linda?
Good.
Good. So how's everybody enjoying the weather?
Beautiful.
Perfect.
I know, I could get used to it.
Got some windows open at home here.
Oh, I know. I love it.
Hi, Paul.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Hi, Paul.
Oh, just fantastic. How are you guys? Everybody's looking fantastic,
Doing good.
except for Fred. He's a mess.
Hey, speaking of looking good, the Bonnies played a heck of a game the other night, didn't they?
Did
They
they? I don't
did.
know. I wasn't watching.
Oh, they looked real. Paul, are you
I
kidding me?
know. I'm joking, of course. Yeah.
Fred watches one game and he wants to talk about it. So.
That's all right.
Hey, I saw Bob Lanier and Calvin Murphy when they were freshmen at the Riley Center. I go way back.
I saw Bob Lanier last year at the Riley Center, the greatest teams thing, whatever it was.
Mhm.
Well, we'll never see anybody like him again, that's for sure.
I saw Tom Stiff play at the Armory, so
Well, you're way older than me,
I know it.
about 6 months.
Thought that was a big place back in the day when you went to the Armory and watched them play, and they had maybe, 1,000 people, 1,200 people there, and
They win like 85 games in a row or something. They had a streak of,
they had quite a run at the Armory, yeah.
yeah.
Neither one of you guys looks a day over 70.
Thanks.
John.
That makes me feel good.
John, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Bill. How are you?
Good. Jason, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Okay, what do we got? A few minutes. We got, do we have all the aldermen?
Oh, we need Vern.
Yeah,
And Chief Richardson,
Tim's here.
other one.
I don't know if he's gonna get on. Did he have anything?
He's got, oh no. No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm a week behind on. I'll do it.
So did anybody else do I did something today that my neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but I went out front and I took my rake and I spread out the snow so it would melt faster.
You
One of my
didn't,
neighbors,
you
like, what
didn't
are you
talk
doing?
around, did you?
I just wanted to go away. Yes, they looked at me quite, like, what is she doing? But mine will be the first yard on the street that's totally snow-free. Hi, Vern.
How you doing, Linda? Hello, everyone.
Good.
Vernon, how are you?
Good.
Okay, how's our time?
You got 5:29.
Okay, give it another minute and then we'll get started. Okay, everybody set? I have 5:30. Okay?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, let's call to order the Committee of Finance and let the record show all members are present. I don't believe we have any unfinished business other than the budget. New referrals and consideration, the budget. And our discussion tonight is the budget 221 to 222. And I think first up is water and sewer funding, and that will be with our Director Ring.
Can I just step in first and
Sure.
today I sent you the advocacy update from NICOM, and
Yes.
it looks like, as of right now, we are going to get 1,473,947, and that'll come in two payments of $736,973.50. According to what this is saying here, the once it's signed by the president, New York State, your first allocation will be sent to New York State within 60 days of the president's signing of the bill. And then the state has 30 days to pass it along to us. So the second installment will be made available 12 months later. So it's not unallocated funds. There are some conditions. So we're going to have to watch these closely and see exactly what we can do with the money. And so I just wanted to keep you updated on that. But that's as of the latest on the stimulus package. I didn't check the news today. I'm not sure if the House voted on it today or not. So we'll just, I'm sorry, not, did somebody say not? Okay, we'll just have to keep track of that. So it's if you go down through all the communities who are getting money, it's very interesting on the differences in the money that's being received. I don't understand it. We're similar in size to Dunkirk, and they're getting $14 million. So because they're a CDBG community or something like that. So CDBG entitlement community will receive the first allotment. So, but very thankful for the $1.43 million that they're $4.7 million that we are going to get. So I just wanted to update everybody on that before we get going here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And I looked down the list, and obviously in Cattaraugus County, we're getting the largest check. So I just want to thank our two senators for voting for it. And it will be great when we have the conditions that we have to stay within.
Yep.
So back to Director Ring. I will give you the floor.
Started, and then Brad's going to dig into the bigger details with the budget and operations. Brad's been on for about a year now, and we've been transitioning operations to Brad, with my role moving more into master planning, project management, and planning type projects for water and sewer. Brad's been doing a great job. He's got a lot of good ideas. He's going to bring some to the table tonight with some policy changes. But again, during budget time, I like to take a comprehensive look at where we are and kind of update you all on water and sewer as a whole. But I'll also try and be as quick as possible. The good news is that through our efforts, Brad and the mayor and Brad and I, we're presenting a balanced budget, water and sewer, through expenditures are equal. And
You seem to be breaking off, Bob. I'm not sure what's going on there. But
They're fading away.
yeah.
usually my work connection is pretty good. Is everybody having a little bit of a problem, or? Okay. Like I said, we're presenting a balanced budget. We're presenting a 0% increase in sewer and a 2% increase in water in order to meet that balanced budget. And again, Brad's going to get into some of these details, but our budget has been pretty flat for the last 5 years. It's been up and down, and there are the same as the general fund budget. There are definitely some challenges in water and sewer. There's definitely work that we have to do, but we know what we're up against, and we're trying to stretch the dollars as much as we can. So I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna get in a little bit of master planning, and let's take a look at least capital projects that are on our horizon. You see the spreadsheet with the capital water and sewer. Starting with water, you know the first three projects, we talk about them many times. those are in construction. So those are going to put us in a good place with our infrastructure, most of which are away from our water treatment plant. You know of the South Wall Rehabilitation Project that we've been working on the design report that you funded, and we're looking for grant funding for that project. I've talked about this other project a couple of times at our reservoir site. You know, we aren't able to isolate the two reservoirs and clean them and inspect them. That's a project that's a priority for us. And, you know, so we have some work to do. There's some other things in water that, you know, I wanted to give you a quick update on. The state is requiring, it's a long-term mandate from the state where we need to eliminate all lead service lines throughout the city. And they're requiring that this be done over the course of 30 years. So it's going to be on us to replace those lines. We'll probably roll it in with our paving schedule and plan so it's cost effective. And, you know, we'll replace them in-house. It's going to take up, you know, labor from our water distribution crew to take care of those lines over a long period of time. Also, our meters, when we did the project 8 or 9 years ago now, where we changed all our meters over, those battery lives were 10 years old. And, you know, some have failed already. Some are, you know, we're anticipating are going to fail around 10 years. Some, you know, we're going to anticipate that are going to last 11, 12, 13 years. So we're coming up with a plan on how to fund, you know, 5,000 meter replacements, you know, and who's going to pay for that. And, you know, it's another project we're working on. What we want to do and what Brad and I, you know, talk about often is a master plan. We have a master plan in sewer, which I'll show you, and that was driven by our consent order with DEC, but we want to look at other communities and what they've done from a master plan perspective. We want to lay out our projects for at least 5 years, if not, you know, like a 10-year look, and look at what that cost is going to be and what kind of impact we can make. I'm just going to pull in, you know, our hydrant map. Our infrastructure is aging, as you know. A lot of the lines underground are 80, 90, and 100, you know, some as old as 100 years old, you know, and we took a big chunk out of that with replacing Washington Street water line. We haven't, you can see that area is just surrounded by red and yellow hydrants, red hydrants and yellow hydrants being you know, a detriment to, say, fire flow and even to volume in your house. So, you know, that's going to be a huge upgrade, but, you know, we have work to do all around town to replace our water lines that break often, and our guys are out all winter fixing breaks. You know, we could use infrastructure money and an infrastructure plan, and we're hoping to do that through a hydraulic model that we've talked about, where, you know, we'll get the most bang for our buck to replace the line, and not just do it based on looking at a map like this. You know, there's more science into it, of course, but the more data we have, the better. So that's kind of where we're heading with water. I guess as far as from master plan, it hasn't been written. We're talking about just putting a draft template in place and then starting to inventory our infrastructure, you know, and take it step by step and eventually present it to the council and have something that's adopted and agreed upon. So when we do set rate increases and things like that, we're doing it based on a plan that everybody's signed up on. Any questions up to this point?
Bill, can you hear me?
Yes.
If I may, it appears as though in our early correspondence with NICOM, one of the suitable uses of the 1.47 million would be for sewer and water infrastructure. And I think what Bob described as far as needs, that may be a good spot to use part of that 1.47 million. Is that your understanding, Bill?
Yeah, I want further clarification on the whole use of it. So,
But spending our money already.
yeah.
No, you are.
Well, just keep in mind, there's some other areas of infrastructure that's a need too. So I don't mind using part of it, but there are other areas. And like Bill said, we have to see what we can use it for.
Mhm.
I'm not going to take away from BWB's presentation later, but we have about 750,000 in fund balance, and we've added to fund balance the year that they calculated, and I'll obviously they'll get into that. So we're healthy, but we don't have a lot of infrastructure money to play with. We had 200,000. That money's been eaten up by. I'll just show you. One increase that we've dealt with. This is our chemicals. This is one of our biggest costs in water and sewer is our chemical costs. You can see over the last 3 years that the increases in each of those have been significant, and our water and sewer budget has stayed the same. And this is the type of thing that eats into our budget a little bit, makes operations a little bit more difficult. And like I said, we get by, we meet those challenges best we can. It's obligations to our contract with raises and employees, the same as the general fund.
What's driving that, Bob?
I think every business increased costs, right? It costs more to do business overall, inflation, right? And right now, I have some pretty major concerns with fuel prices. That's going to make everything go up, especially in the construction industry and blacktop. And we buy a lot of fuel here, and we use a lot of fuel here. That's a huge concern. That could put a big dent in our budget if fuel were to go back. It's $3 a gallon now.
And those are all at state bid rates, like that's the quotes we're getting on that?
We bid, yeah. These are the low bidders in the last 3 years.
Wow. Okay, thanks.
And these are using water and sewer.
Bob, do you know on our fuel purchases, being that we're a municipality, is there any recuperation of taxes? Or
we get it tax free. It's less than we send the public pays. We get tax free fuel from state bid.
Okay.
Office of General Services that supplies us with diesel and unleaded. Getting into sewer, we haven't talked a lot about the master plan. I have it opened up to the capital project summary, and currently, obviously, we just got done with a $22 million project, and that was a huge project. And a lot of our concerns moving forward are with I&I, and we promised the DEC to do the wastewater treatment plant project and to tackle I&I as best we can, which is infiltration and inflow. Our infrastructure has been neglected. Every community is dealing with the same thing, but this master plan was written in response to the consent order that we received to replace the plant and take on capital projects. This was written in 2005 originally and updated in 2016. We're looking at doing another 2021 update, so it shows the progress that we've made and puts in maybe new dates based on where we're at 5 years later. And I guess the main point is that some of the dates, some of the projects that we're looking at, this is one of the projects in East Olean. It's the main trunk sewer that runs from the tile plant to the Shawmut lift station behind Branner Stadium that was replaced. And then the other project that we've talked about multiple times is the siphon project. So the end date was anticipated for 2019, and we received an engineering planning grant for that project. We applied last year for a grant to fund the project and it didn't get funded. This year, there just isn't grants. So I think we can understand that this year there isn't a lot out there to fund that project, but it's getting to the point where we really got to think seriously about funding it. Either with city money or hopefully a grant will kind of come to fruition. This sewer, when it rains, sometimes there's so much water in this line that it pops the manhole lids off the manholes. And if you've ever walked down the dikes by Forness Pond, they sit up 3 or 4 feet. That line is 15 or 16 feet deep, and it surcharges because all East Olean sewer, when it rains, picks up infiltration and inflow, and it blows those manhole lids right off of the top. Sometimes we have to go put them back on. So that's just some perspective of what we're dealing with inflow and infiltration, and that line being so close to the river, probably picking up a lot of groundwater. That needs to be addressed. We were working on the West Olean sewer, lining that with the 250,000 that's required by DEC each year. That was meant to be done by 2021, and we were on track to do that. We were trying to get to the pump station, if you remember, because that's a corrugated metal line, and we did the 42-inch, and we were moving on to the 36-inch. So we're on track to meet that, but some other projects, we have to think about, working on and applying for grants. So I summarized those projects in, just something that I prepared for today. You guys had approved a grant application for an engineering planning grant for an I&I study where we would use meters around town and get a better sense of where I&I is the worst. And then those other projects you can see are on there. We have stormwater projects. We uncovered some stormwater issues at Ireland Avenue when we started the pump station project. We calls and the Stardust and Main Street and Seneca Heights areas that need to be addressed from a larger perspective. Instead of just trying to put in a new catch basin and piecemeal it. We have a pump house project that Brad's going to get into a little bit more. Later on the agenda today, we're going to apply for a couple grants, hopefully with your permission, to replace some culverts. And then we've talked a little bit about the Kingsbrook project. That's on hold for now. We want to present a bigger project, but stormwater needs to be addressed. And, those are just the challenges that we have in sewer and stormwater.
Hey, Bob,
Bob,
quick question. And the East Olean Dike sewer, that project there, is that just, you said, doing a similar repair like we're doing along Irving and along Green Street, like with the liner?
Possibly. That's probably best because digging on the side of that sewer, I think, would be a really risky idea. So that's more than likely what we originally have talked about, very initial, very preliminary, would be to either replace the manholes or also line the inside of the manholes because they're all brick. And like I said, they're very deep. Here's the area here behind Forness Pond. That sewer, again, it starts over at the tile plant and it runs all along the levee in East Olean. And I'm zooming in, here's one of the manholes. So lining the manhole and lining the lines would be probably a good project as opposed to a replacement, which would be 3 times as much.
Okay.
Bob, I have a question. As far as the disconnects from the residential homes, percentage wise, where are we with that? I know we started a long time ago and we really haven't, to my knowledge, made much headway. Do you know what percentage are we at this point?
I don't know the percentage. It's done on sale of the home, so I'd have to coordinate with codes and ask them where we're at with like disconnect.
So is there any area you've seen a decrease in that water coming into our system that would tell you that people are disconnecting? Or we just don't know?
Brad, do you know the answer to that? I want to say we've seen some positive returns on the 42 inch, and just lining what we've lined so far. And that's, you know, in this section of town, here's the 4th Street pump house, and somewhere around 8th Street, I believe. So we've come from the plant to 8th Street in about 4 years, and our goal is to get to the pump house.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so-
think we've seen a minor improvement in our gravity mini system closest to the plant. But as far as East Olean, I don't believe we've seen really any improvement as far as I decreases in that mini system.
Okay, so in other words, we have a ways to go to get
Oh,
people
yeah.
to disconnect.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.
Yeah, you know, the water line infrastructure, hydrant replacement, and sewer line, it's a career long, you know, it's a slow go. It's a 30, 50 year replacement. It's nice when it keeps up with, you know, a small increase in rates, just to keep up with, you know, not having to give up our infrastructure money. And, you know, its operations kind of is what it is. I'm going to turn it over to Brad next. Do you have any other questions?
What's the master plan there that had this project in East Olean slated for 2016, 2017? Well, what kind of repercussions are there if we don't stick to that plan?
I write a letter to DEC every year as part of the consent order, and I update them with what we've accomplished and you know, what our plans are for the next year, and they accept it or they don't accept it. It's you know, it's a little ambiguous, but you know, that they give us feedback if there are any concerns, and so far there hasn't been. Last year, you know, we reduced the amount that we lined sewer wise because of COVID, because of revenue concerns. So we understand where we're at, you know, and we could update this and get it, like, I do a 5-year update and get their sign off and update some of those dates, just because they need to understand where we're at financially. Yeah, I know that the sewer fund, and again, BWB will get into that, but we have a $2.1 million fund equity. You know, we did the 2019-20 budget. We took $100,000 out of fund balance, but mainly that was due to additional sewer lining funds that you all passed a resolution for. We use some of that funding to you know, further along these capital projects, and then we ran into COVID.
Okay, Brad, are you ready? You're muted, Brad.
There, how's that?
Better.
There we go. All right, can you see the screen here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I wanted to start with the water budget, because I took 3 budgets and made it 2 budgets. I did that to kind of have the budget make more sense, and also it mirrors sewage. So you can see here, the water administration budget is completely gone. And this was basically dissolved mostly into the transmission and distribution budget. Overall, the water budget is up 80,000, which I believe is 2%. Yeah, this will give you a little history here. So you can see the 100 line is up. All of the increases are mostly from the water administration budget. That was almost $400,000 that was dissolved primarily into the distribution budget. You can see this is way up. Most everything there stayed the same. So I'll go through a line by line here. If you have any questions, just stop me as I go along. So the 100 line is up. The overtime budget is up. The 102 line is up. All of those are from the administration budget. 200 line is the same. 300 line is up. The office supplies and materials is up. Oil and gas is up 1,000. Uniforms and protective clothing, that is up. You'll see both in water and sewer budgets, the PPE line was increased due to a lot of our fall protection and protective clothing that they wear is 5 or more years old. And in that case, it is highly recommended that some of those things be replaced due to use and just wear and tear from in and out of tanks and just wearing them. Books and manuals is up. Janitorial's the same, chemicals are the same. Even though our prices were up, I believe we can still hang in that 85,000 range. Telephone is the same, light and power is up 5,000. Fuel for heating is down. That is based on actual usage from the prior years. I looked at that. Our usage is down, so I think 16,000 is sufficient for that. Repairs of property equipment is the same. Building repairs is the same. Auto repairs is up. That's due to our aging fleet. A lot of these trucks are used for plowing, and the wear and tear on them is significant as they get older. Contracted services is up slightly. Travel training is the same. Dues and subscriptions are the same. Lab testing is the same. Any questions on the purification budget?
Can I ask a question, Brad? With our solar farm, are we getting any discounts? I thought there were some buildings that we were supposed to be getting discounts on electricity or something. Where would we
Yeah.
see that reflected?
That would be a good question for Fred. I know we did get some rebates from the BQ Energy. I think the last one was mostly in sewer. And I think that line is in the 665 line. I don't know if Fred can speak to that.
I track the activity with BQ Energy and National Grid. And to answer your question, Linda, up through today, we have recognized about $125,000 in energy savings. And I try to split that between the three funds. So we are recognizing savings. The credits are broken down in various categories: DPW, water, fire, water and sewer. So we have recognized some savings, and I think overall it was a good undertaking for the city.
Okay, so for instance, in this situation, we still have to increase the electric and power by 5,000. That won't be offset, say, in the next few months by that rebate or credits, and we can keep it the same?
The electric rates, unfortunately, are still increasing, so I'm not sure what the net effect will be. Let me investigate that and I'll get back to you. But,
okay, thank you, Fred.
In short, our agreement has saved the city $125,000 over 2 years.
Okay, thanks.
You already said it, Brad, but in the personnel accounts for both of them, I can't see the other one, but why was those increases so high in both those 100 line items.
And the 8340, the transmission and distribution and
Yeah.
the purification?
Yeah.
That's because right here, this 292,000 that was in water administration got dissolved into these two other, into the 8330 100 line and the 8340 100 line.
Okay.
Yep. So there was, there was people working in this line. So they got moved to more appropriately budget those positions out of purification and distribution.
Hey, Brad, would you do me a favor, please?
Sure.
Would you, just for comparison's sake, since you dissolved essentially the one department, would you just add up the totals from 2020, the three totals, so the water admin, the purification, and then the transmission, just to get a comparison, and then just add those. You can highlight, you could click on cell G103, please. Just get the total, yep. And so essentially just add up that and then go up.
To this one?
And press control, and you can click on that cell and it should add them together, and then go up to, let go of control. And then you can click on that cell there, control. All right, so that's about 1.92 million. So that's the sum down at the bottom. So 1,920,000. And now just do the same. You can let go of those cells, and just to get a total of what the departments, essentially to give you a net change. So that cell there, please, and then that cell. So 1.959. So you're looking at what, 39,000 increase? Really, after you dissolve that one department, right? Kind of.
Yep.
Across those three departmentals. I mean, I know you got your.
Yeah. The net difference of the budgets really is 39,200.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. That's all I was looking for.
No problem. Yep.
And I think, Bob, you included in the 100 lines, the contractual CSEA rate increases, did you not?
Yes.
So that makes up a good part of the 39,000 is where I'm coming from.
Yep. Agreed.
Yep. Okay, so any other questions here in the purification budget?
I have nothing.
No? Okay. Moving on to transmission and distribution. You'll see that 100 line again is higher due to that dissolving of the administration budget. The overtime is the same. The 102 line here, that increase is 100% from the administration budget. 2,000 here, that is straight from the administration budget. 17.5 here is straight from the administration budget. 65,000 there. That was decreased. I believe we can do our street repairs for our street openings with that 65,000. The increase here in the gas and oil for travel and such is straight from, there was 5,000 up in the administration budget here, 7,000. So this 7,000, most of that was used here. 5 of that 7 was used for this increase. PPE, you'll see that increase there. Janitorial is up 150. Chemicals and supplies is up 500. Water mains and hydrants is up Those funds were directly from the administration budget. Telephone is up 8,000. That was directly from the administration budget. Light and power is down. That is due to energy savings. Fuel for heating is up. Repairs to building and equipment, or property and equipment, is the same. Building repairs is the same. Auto repairs is up 500. I believe I did that based on prior year's usages. Contracted services is way up, and that is directly from the administration budget. We go up here. Contracted services, 36,000. That got moved down here. And travel training is up 500. We have a lot of people new in that department that need training for their certification, whether it's their distribution certification, their backflow prevention. There's another one, and I'm forgetting the name of it. So that's it for the transmission and distribution budget. Is there any questions on these? No? All right. Fred, I don't know if you want me to get it.
I'm responsible. No, I'm responsible for that. And the increase, again, the big increase is in the state retirement. That's the water fund share of the overall increase of, I think it was $50,000. So that's the water share. And the debt service went up $23,000. So really out of the increase of $80,000, 25 of it's debt service, 15 of it is in retirement. And I think you might agree that end of 1.5 to 2% increase in wages, the budget hasn't changed, notwithstanding those 3 or 4 items. So I think we're coming in real close to where we did last year.
Hey, Fred, on that topic, for debt service, are we seeing an increase? Is the increase a result of, seems like the only thing that we've done is the Washington Street. Is that, are we starting to pay on
Yes.
money we've borrowed from that?
Yes, that's, there's interest costs and the Washington Street project and some of the other things that we've done over the last couple of years.
Okay.
I could send you folks the debt schedule for 2021-22 that I got from Municipal Solutions, if you'd like to take a look at that.
Is it a PDF file?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great, Fred. Thank you.
Okay.
And I think it's worthy of mentioning that our water revenues are down, I want to say 3.4% on average for the last 5 years. And we're down 164,000 on the average and 119,000 from last year at this time.
I was going to ask Bob and Brad, most of that seems to be in the industrial section of our billing. Do we include restaurants and the hospital and those type of, are they in industrial? And I think probably, I'm just guessing, part of the reason for the decrease in revenues could be COVID related. Places, the restaurants have been closed, the schools have been closed. So could that account for the $100,000 less in revenue? Just your opinion, Bob.
I don't know. Bob, you want to say something? I got some numbers here that might answer Fred's question.
Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
This fiscal year in June, we were down 44,745 in revenues. In November, we were down 30,000 in revenues. And in December, we were down 38,000, almost 39,000 in revenues. So really, when I look at if I can pull up,
I guess what I was hoping is that if COVID's not part of our lives for the bulk of 21, 22, we could see our revenues increase. That's what the question I'm asking and wondering.
yes, I believe that would be absolutely true.
Okay.
Could I preface, could I add though, what will the loss of Dresser-Rand manufacturing do? Are they not one of our largest consumers of water?
Index certainly is.
Yeah. Has Indec been routinely running or have they been turned off? Has their cost gone down?
No, I believe that they're pretty much stay the same. They've been unaffected.
Okay.
The hospital is also a pretty large user of water. Dresser-Rand's impact will be larger on the water side and less of an effect on the sewer side. To a pretty significant degree, really.
Right.
Those
That's what
are
I thought.
those are considerations for a budget next year and the year after. I think we'll get through this year okay, but we really have to keep that in mind in 22, 23 when we budget water and sewer revenues.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Brad, just a question so I understand how our process works. I understand we provide water and sewer service to the village of Allegheny. Is that correct?
Not water, sewer.
Just sewer.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we, is it just a flat rate we've negotiated with them or something? How does that work?
Allegheny's charges are based on the sewer budget and how much of that budget is spent. Does that answer your question?
No, I guess I just don't understand that terminology.
So what it is, it's actually a percentage of their flow to our flow. And then you take that percentage and you apply it to our budget of how much of our budget was spent treating their sewage.
Okay, I got you.
We would love it to be just, a flat rate per gallon. It would make everybody's life a lot easier. And we're working towards that, but we're not there yet. This agreement is 40 years old.
Yeah. And we're stuck with it.
For now.
Yeah.
Does it have a renewal year or something? Is that what?
No.
No.
No, unfortunately.
How are we stuck?
How are we stuck with the agreement?
Yes.
There is no end date. There's no date to renegotiate. There's no date that it expires. It's 40 years old and that's what it is. And it takes, two parties to negotiate a new contract. And if we want to negotiate a new contract, we'll have to probably take them to court.
Mm-hmm.
Bill,
Yes,
are we infringing or getting close to executive session type discussion?
yes, we are.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to the sewer fund. A lot of this is really the same. It's pretty much unchanged. There's some small changes, but we'll go through this here. The 100 line is down in sewer maintenance. That's because we moved somebody that was being paid out of that budget into the sewage treatment and disposal budget. So you'll see this one's down and the treatment and disposal one is up. That is due to one position moving there. The overtime's the same. The 102 line is up. That was due to usages when I look back through older budgets. You'll see the capital outlay is the same. Office supplies is the same. Street resurfacing is the same. Oil and gas is the same. PPE is increased, and that's due to just the cost of keeping the employees not exposed to sewage, essentially, and safe when they're digging, whether it's getting some shoring or high-vis apparel or winter weather apparel when they're plowing and taking care of snow and things like that. Moving down to 419, other supplies, that's unchanged. Automotive repairs is unchanged. Miscellaneous contracted services is unchanged. Travel training is up. That's due to a couple employees there that need some training on stormwater, I believe. Before we move on to treatment and disposal, is there any questions about the sewer maintenance? You can see that that's down 40,000. Sewage treatment and disposal, you'll see the 100 line is up. That's due to that position moving. Overtime's the same. 102 line is the same. Radios and communication is the same as last year. That is, we're trying to get our communications from our remote pump stations back to the community bank and to the treatment plant, upgraded, or so it doesn't drop out as frequently and call people out in the middle of the night or when we have a minor rainstorm or something. 250 other equipment, that's at 20,000. That's up. And 301 capital outlay is up from 50 to 70. A lot of these lines that are up, those funds came from the 422 line, light and power. You can see that is down 30,000. We've been pretty efficient with our electrical use at the sewer plant. So fortunately, that number is able to come down pretty significantly. I did want to mention that in the 250 and 301 lines, I'd like to take both of those up 10,000 from what you see here, and that is due to the Buffalo Street stormwater pump station that you see there, where I guess it's the former park and ride. The electrical equipment in that station is approaching 50 years old and needs to be replaced. And from what I understand, National Grid is going to make us or urge us to do that because it's supplying I guess an odd power source or a voltage to that station to supply power to those pumps. And what the plan is for that station is to do a multi-year project to upgrade the electrical components in there. All of the scaffolding that is down in the ground underneath of that station is all rusted and falling in. It's not safe for anybody to go in there. You have to be lowered in there by a man lift. So we would like to replace those things in the future and the pumps and eventually have some kind of backup power there. If we lose power during a rainstorm and that underpass floods, we have no way of getting that out if we lose power. So that's that station's cost. The quote that we got for the electrical components is 45,000. So that'll eat up quite a bit of this 70. And the other equipment is, we have a quote for 18,000 for our mowing equipment and some of our snow removal equipment that goes on our tractor. So the tractor and those attachments are 18,000. That's something that we do about every 6 or 7 years when the equipment starts getting beat up and needing a lot of attention. And that's something that we do through state bid. The pricing is the state contract pricing. Moving on, the office supplies and materials is the same. Gas and oil is the same. PPE is up for the same reasons I mentioned before. Books and manuals is the same. Janitorial supplies is the same. Chemicals is up. Bob covered that in his presentation. Our sodium hypochlorite that we now will use at the sewer plant is not, we used to use it seasonally. Now we use it year round. So we're trying to figure out through process adjustments at the plant and applying that year round. It's kind of hard to gauge how much you're going to need, because when if we get a storm, our quality goes down and you need to add more sodium hypochlorite. So that's why that line is up. Telephone is the same. Light and power is down. Our usage is down pretty good, and we're able to do that. Fuel for heating, down 5,000. Repairs to equipment is up 5,000. Building repairs is up 5,000. Auto repairs is up 6,000, or up 1,000, sorry. Miscellaneous contracted services, that is up. And the 250 and the 301 lines that I was telling you that I wanted to bump those up 10,000 each, potentially that would come from this line. I believe this can go down to 193. Travel training is the same, and dues and subscriptions are the same. And I believe this budget is, overall, the budget is down 60,000.
That we incurred some significant savings in the debt service. We paid off one note that saved us $70,000. We had some money left over in the in our borrowings for the new plant, and we are allowed to use $90,000 over the next 2 years to help reduce our debt service. So the debt service is down $140,000, and that is the primary reason why I said that I don't think we need to raise sewer rates, because of the savings in the debt service. And I think when Dave does his presentation, we'll talk about the sewer department. This year, I think we're going to add a couple $100,000 to fund balance in the sewer department. So I didn't see the need to raise sewer rates because of our performance this year and then going forward.
Yeah, I believe our sewer revenues are up 50,000 on the year.
Brad, can I ask a question?
Yep.
Have you noticed, since we did the updates at the sewer plant with the overall new project, have you seen, areas where there have been a savings as far as energy or productivity, or, just overall decrease in anything over there?
Yeah, definitely a decrease in energy use for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We're also working on monitoring our energy usage closer to see when our peak demand is. So that program may allow us to save even additional money if we can kind of move that peak demand to a time when the rate is less.
Okay. Now, when we have overflow, say after a heavy rain, do you see us handling it a little better since those improvements were put in place?
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I don't believe we've had a permit excursion since that upgrade that I can think of. We may have had one, but it may have been due to our own fault, not environmental.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Any questions on the budget? No?
Linda,
Yes.
we have BWB going to give a report at 6:30. So I think we may have to do capital projects on another night.
Okay. How about you can talk to John and we can set up another night if we have to for capital projects, since we only have a couple minutes
Right.
before Dave comes on.
Yeah.
Now he's joining us where we are, right?
No, I'm closing this meeting, then you guys have to go to the webinar meeting.
Gotcha.
Okay. So once I close this, you have to log back on with the webinar meeting. I'll open that up right after I close this, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
To schedule the policy discussion, water.
Anybody understand that? Sorry, Bob, we didn't understand you. Okay, to close the meeting then, and we'll get the webinar going.
But I'll make a motion. Do we need a formal some formal?
I think we're
motion?
still in the same committee meeting, aren't we?
No.
It's still under finance.
I thought it was,
No.
It's on the committee of a whole.
I think it's under
Oh,
committee of
okay.
the whole, Linda.
Then I'll make a motion to adjourn. Somebody want a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
I.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Aye.
All right, see you in a couple minutes.